For years, show jumping has been built on one thing above all else: trust between horse and rider. Every jump depends on it. Every round is shaped by it. It is the one element that cannot be replaced, no matter how much the sport evolves around it. Now, a new league is being created that promises to change the sport completely. It is backed by $300 million. It is global in scale. It is designed to bring structure, visibility, and a new level of professionalism to elite competition. But what makes this different is not just how big it is what it claims to stand for. Because this league says it wants to put the horse first. And that raises a question we cannot ignore. Could this actually improve the lives of the horses in this sport? Or will it quietly increase the demands placed upon them? The Premier Jumping League is attempting to reshape the system that elite show jumping has relied on for decades. Instead of a scattered calendar made up of independent competitions, it introduces a structured season with defined teams, planned locations, and a more predictable rhythm. At first glance, this may seem like a change that primarily benefits riders and audiences. But when you look closer, structure has direct consequences for the horse. In the current system, top horses often move from show to show based on opportunity, ranking pressure, and qualification requirements. This can create periods where competition becomes dense, followed by gaps that are not always intentional. The new league aims to replace that unpredictability with a schedule that is designed in advance. This matters because predictability allows for planning, and planning allows for rest. By building recovery time into the structure of the season, the league is attempting to reduce one of the most common pressures in the sport: the need to compete frequently just to remain relevant. If implemented carefully, this could mean fewer rushed decisions and more deliberate management of each horse's workload. It creates the possibility for a system where stepping back is not seen as falling behind. Travel is another area where change is being proposed. Elite show jumping has always been international, but that has come with a cost. Horses are transported across continents, often within tight time frames, adapting to new environments, climates, and conditions. Even with the highest standards of care, that kind of movement adds strain. The Premier Jumping League has indicated that it wants to approach this differently by organizing its calendar in geographic blocks. Rather than constant long-distance travel, events would be grouped in ways that reduce unnecessary movement. This approach does not eliminate travel, but it acknowledges its impact, and more importantly, it attempts to manage it. Small improvements in travel efficiency can have a significant effect over time. Less fatigue, more consistency, a better ability for horses to settle and perform without constantly adjusting to new surroundings. These are not dramatic changes on the surface, but they matter in the long run. Another key component of the league's welfare approach is increased veterinary oversight. This goes beyond standard competition checks. The intention is to create a more continuous system of monitoring, where the condition of the horse is tackled over time rather than assessed only in isolated moments. This kind of system has the potential to change how decisions are made. Instead of relying solely on immediate fitness, it allows for patterns to be identified. Subtle signs of strain can be noticed earlier, and decisions about whether a horse should compete can be based on a broader understanding of its condition. In a sport where small issues can quickly become significant if ignored, this kind of oversight could play an important role. It adds another layer of protection, not just for performance, but for longevity. And that word, longevity, is central to what the league is trying to promote. For a long time, success in the sport has often been measured in short-term results: wins, rankings, championships. But the Premier Jumping League is suggesting a slightly different perspective. It is placing value on how long a horse can remain healthy, competitive, and willing. This is a subtle shift, but it changes the incentives. It encourages riders and teams to think beyond immediate outcomes. It aligns success with sustainability. And when that alignment happens, welfare becomes part of the strategy, not an obstacle to it. This shift reflects something larger that is happening within the equestrian world. There is a growing awareness that the future of the sport depends on how it treats its horses, not just in terms of care, but in terms of expectations. People are paying closer attention than they used to. They are watching not just what happens in the ring, but how horses arrive there. They are asking whether the system in place supports the animal as much as they support the competition. And that attention is changing the conversation. Welfare is no longer a secondary consideration. It is becoming a defining factor. This creates a different kind of pressure on the sport, not just to perform, but to justify itself. The Premier Jumping Leap is stepping into this environment with a clear message that growth and responsibility can happen at the same time. Of course, there are still challenges. A structured league still requires consistency from its athletes. Competition at this level will always involve intensity. And even with improved scheduling, there will still be moments where decisions are difficult. But the difference here is that these challenges are being acknowledged from the beginning. They are part of the design, not something to be addressed later. And that changes the direction of the conversation. Instead of asking how much the sport can expand, the focus begins to shift toward how it can evolve without losing what matters. Because at its core, show jumping is not defined by its scale. It is defined by its relationships. Every decision made within this new system will eventually lead back to the same question. Does this support the horse? Not just in appearance, not just in intention, but in reality. If the answer continues to be yes, even in small ways, then the sport moves forward, not just as a spectacle, but as something sustainable. And that is what makes this moment important. Not because it guarantees change, but because it creates the opportunity for it. In the end, everything still comes back to the same point: the horse. The animal that carries the sport, adapts to it, and responds to everything we ask of it. If this new league can create a system where that responsibility is taken seriously at every level, then it will not just change show jumping, it will improve it. And that is a future worth building toward.